Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to tea leaf readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So we're just going to get started. We're going to take a look at what's going on here in these formations that really want to speak to you, right? So we have first the number, it looks like 217. 217. Okay. I don't always really share like what the numbers mean. Sometimes I just call them out because, maybe they're lucky. Maybe this is a particular number that speaks to you in some way. But we have also the 2 up here and the repeating 7 up here. And what it feels like is a calling. It may be a call. Maybe it's an area code or part of a phone number. Not that any of us would ever know, right? I don't know. Do you ever really look at the phone numbers? I don't. I am absolutely just the worst at remembering phone numbers. Anyways, I can remember the ones from, high school and middle school when we had to know everybody's phone numbers. But not now. But it feels like something where you're being pulled towards. It's not like a message where it's coming to you, it's set down in front of you, and you're getting the information. It's not that. It's like almost being like kind of not courted, kind of though. There's like this kind of flirtation, and I don't necessarily mean romantic or like, flirting because you all are into each other. It's kind of like kind of letting you know, like, we have similar interests, or I have something here to show you. So I feel you really drawn out of your shell, which I feel like you probably have been pretty in yourself lately, because it feels uncomfortable, I think. I feel like you've been kind of away from maybe socializing. Maybe you've been off of social media. Maybe, you haven't been having those in the wild conversations with people. And, we fall out of habit. We fall out of practice. And I don't know about you. I'm guessing you probably know. It feels like you are riding maybe the end of a hermit mode. But like I know, I definitely go hermit. It's a natural instinct for me when things get overwhelming in the world, when I've consumed too much doom, or I've been around people a lot and it's been emotionally and energetically overstimulating or whatever, I will recoil into myself, like I think a lot of us do. It's not necessarily like a sad thing. In fact, I really like the times where I don't have the instinct to want to share energies with people, because then it's like I'm really like into some kind of study or a project, or I'm like hyper fixated on whatever, right? I'm into the magic of the thing, of life. And so for me, I don't know, I look forward to like the moments where I'm like, all right, I'm cool. I'm going on home now, So I feel like maybe you've been there, but I don't necessarily, and I need a drink here, my goodness. The allergies have been something else this season. Also, so many ticks. Can I just say, so many ticks out. Please be careful. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but up in the northern Midwest, tick season is bad, okay? So please be checking yourself. Every time you go outside, I'm outside doing yard work a lot and in the grass, in the woods. So, baby, I don't want to get myself into anxiety right now, but just check yourself, all right? But I feel like for you, it's like this dislodging. You're being dislodged from wherever you have been, right? And now it's starting to feel kind of almost like this great relief to be able to emerge. It's like those first really nice days of spring, or after a very hot and oppressive summer, the first cool days of fall or autumn. And there's almost this kind of, right, a relief, right? All of the tension has gone, or the longness of winter starts to subside, and you start to feel maybe a little more, I don't know, for me, I'm getting older, so my body starts to feel less rickety, right? Like my hips don't feel so bad, my knees don't feel so bad. So, I think that this is a time where usually I wouldn't really like push somebody to, go too far out, out away from their home base right now, I guess. Of most conversations that I'm having, it's like, stay by the house, get your skills up, get your gardens going, the night is upon us, right? But there are times here where I'm seeing it's like, yeah, man, you got to get out there. You have to, go experience some life, maybe, going to some places that feel new, or having experience that are novel, or, first time experiences, seeing things that you've never seen, listening to music you've never, listened to, just connecting, being among people. It doesn't mean you have to like hang out and talk to them, but just, energetically being among others that at least feel akin. You know what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we're in places where it just is, you're on guard, you feel energetically kind of leached upon, or it's like very, I don't know, volatile, or whatever it is. The lighting is terrible and the people are, talking too loud, whatever it is. But then there are times that we find ourselves in places where, like, how have I lived my life thus far, having never felt this particular connection to, you go into, I think of like going to concerts a lot of times, or like went back in the day, going to like raves, or, coming into a room, there's like a lot of heat and music playing, and it's, otherworldly, and people are nice for one reason or another. But it feels, connected. And again, many years ago, I don't know what any of that stuff's like. As soon as they started calling them festivals and stuff, I haven't gone. What's the year? Probably haven't been to a party. This is what we call them, parties. I'm old, man. Probably in at least 15 years, maybe 20 years or whatever. I don't know, somewhere like that. But I've been to like noise shows and stuff, like weird experimental stuff, but not like a full-on rave. Not like they were back in the day, like in the 90s. And that was like my peak era, late 90s into the thousands. But there was a feeling, right? You go in there, you feel at home. You go to, a place of worship, for instance, and you come upon a community of people, a fellowship, a kindred, soul family, and you immediately feel like, right? Not maybe immediately, but, you come into the place and you feel like you should be there, right? And it's the thing that we know. I don't know how else to say it. You either, you feel it or you don't. And so I feel like for you, there is a sense of discomfort in the beginning, but then most definitely finding a little gem of, a beautiful thing, a sacred moment, a little drop of honey, right? Where you're in, you found your port to weather the storm, right? And so I think it's worth being brave here, my love. I think it's worth being brave. So that's where the 217 takes me. Now up here, we have the magician, right? We have, here's the head and here is the body, almost kind of wearing a robe, lifting up. What immediately, and it's hard to see it from this, kind of like this, it looks like something like, the staff of Hermes. Now, not exactly the caduceus or caduceus or however you like to pronounce it. The snakes intertwine thing, when the snakes wrap up thing. And he holds the staff, and right, this is the symbol of the quickening, right? And I think the double snakes, if I remember, I always forget, like, because I know it's like the medical one looks similar to Hermes' staff, or Mercury's staff, but I don't remember the differences. It's been a minute. I'm a sibling of Mercury, definitely being a Virgo, and very fully in that fluidity. But man, I haven't spent a lot of time with the symbolism of Mercury in a while. I should, right? It all starts to mind slop sometimes. Those fine details, but generally we'll go with this energy. So we have the magician. We have, when I say fluidity, I'm not necessarily talking about identity of any kind, but yes, that as well, right? The shifting faces, the many personalities, the ability to kind of dwell within different aspects of self, and this is something that mercurial people, and mercurial is also moody, right? Volatile, and this is all true of people of Mercury, or people dwelling in places that are close to Mercury. On the other side of this, and this is where the magician comes in. To be the magician, you have to be a shapeshifter. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is my experience of, and well, if and we use those here, if you know any of Crowley's work or books, what is it called? What is the one with the magic of life? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not a Thelemite. I haven't read all of this fool's work. I know a lot of it, but let me see. And I say fool in the highest respect. I'm from California. Book of Lies. Is it Book of Lies, I think? I'm trying to think what it is. Oh, nah. I forgot. I'm in the basement. Is it Book of Lies? It must be. Yeah. So, Book of Lies, right? And what else is a lie but a spell? Right? What else is constructing of a thought form, an untruth, whatever truth is. I don't know what truth is, but whatever, taking the fragments of a situation, of an idea, of a concept, or whatever, taking from different places, putting it together, maybe not is, it's not true. It's not true because it doesn't exist, but it is constructed into something. It is created into, a lie or a composite, a meshing of, a synthesis of many parts, right? And this is at the core what a lie is, right? This is at the core, the weaving of reality, a changing in the field, right? And so, maybe, I don't know what that dude said exactly about it, but that, when I think of this idea that, magic is lie is magic, which is a profoundly important thing to comprehend, not just comprehend, but just to, I guess, spend time with, to dwell with, to really go into it. If you can, contemplate deeply into an experience of it, and do that over and over and over again, right? So when we see Hermes, we see the magician, we know that this is, I'm not telling you to go out and lie. What I'm trying to say is, we're trying to get around to, that this is a place where it's like, man, you have the ability to live whatever life you want to at this point. The breaking down of what people understand to be real and not real is scary. Our inability to kind of, look at certain aspects of our lives, especially if you're on a phone or you're looking at, some kind of content, news, whatever. It's hard to know what is real anymore, what is true, right? This magic, enchanting machine that we spend a lot of time with, right? It's breaking down our sense of what is real and what's not real. Unless you're really hanging on to that, right? And just like staying off of social media, all that. I know people that are super dug into like the physical world, and that's, I love that. But I think for a lot of us, it's like breaking down into this like place where we're watching meaning kind of flow away from people, right? Where this is also for some of us a very rich time as far as being able to create freely, right? With like just continually we are being things are being discovered every freaking day. Every day there are so many discoveries in the sciences, patterns within ancient documents being like discovered, the use or the likely use of ancient sites is starting to be a little bit, maybe, I don't know, more understood. We're starting to see these more complex like strands of intelligence through symbols and frequencies. And I know I sound like I just all over the place, but it's such a time, right? And this is the time of the magician. All of the information and fragments are there. And yes, the world, the old world is crumbling. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Everything feels like, very intense, I think, for most people. I do not often talk to a person anymore that's having a good time, that's maybe in a moment here or there, but like, struggling. I mean, with not just little things, big things. I cannot think of anybody that I know that isn't struggling in some way. We are collectively going through it. But, and I know, I'm very privileged to be able to look at things going on and say, yes, this is a time of, we're in the night, man. We're in the night. We're in that very lunar place. Okay? We are in that lunar place, and what happens in that lunar place? It is a theater to create, and you can create nobody is watching. We don't have that solar, everything is exposed and transparent. For whatever reason, right now, we are in a lunar valley, okay? We're in a lunar valley. And for those of you that are doing the work, you know what I mean, the work, magically, interior, self-development, alchemy, whatever. We are in one of the most potent times that we will, I don't know what it's going to be like in the future. I don't know exactly. I know it's big. I know it's big. And I know it will actually very much shake itself out. I'm not worried about that. But right now, it's like a frenzy inside is growing, right? Because the work wants to be done. And there's so much room for it here. And that's what the magician keeps coming up. This Hermes, this magician, this, transformer of worlds, right? Transformer of worlds. Everything is opening up to us. It's all happening, babe. It's all happening. And it's scary, and it's, the balancing of it is, I don't know what else to say. I don't ever, ever, ever want to sit here and romanticize suffering. It's not something to, this kind of romantic agape through deep and divine suffering of body and soul and, life configuration, the things that we're given, our circumstances. I don't want to romanticize that because it's hard and it sucks, man. It sucks when it's hard, when you're going through it, when you're broke, when, family dynamics are breaking down, health is terrible, all these things. It's not cute. It's not pretty. It doesn't, it's not a great aesthetic for the internet, it's awful, but I can tell you with 100% belief in my own heart that it is always paired with the deepest kind of potential for magic, for building your system, for, deploying the things that you are doing, whatever kind of magic. Right? Whatever kind of alchemy. If you are looking for divine guidance, if you, dwell in synchronicity and get a lot of inspiration from that, it is never more potent than when you are going through it. And we are going through it collectively. And it is hardcore. And so many people are being pulled into their magician element without even knowing what is going on, without any basis for like, what does this mean? Why suddenly am I having such a hugely direct effect on my own reality and personal life? Where, I think I think in the analog world, or at least what we perceive to be, it often felt like you're just going along with like you were going through life, and it was kind of just happening and pulling you through, and you're kind of cruising and whatever. now it feels, I don't know, maybe it's not for everybody, but right now it feels like, and the people I see doing content and the people I speak to in my own life, you know, and through this channel as well, I feel like the sentiment, a lot of it is people coming into these understandings of like how much they can take over their own reality. And so I look at this and I know so many of my messages are like kind of in the same vein, but babe, this is it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. It's, you know, there's nothing else but the work, you know, and all the aspects of that, right? Our families, our beloveds, our creations, our heartaches, you know, all of the dramas of our life, the things that we use as the theater for which we play out our integrations, our processes, you know, as young, our unifications of archetypes and integrating those and so on and so forth. So we're here. It's wild, it's spastic, it's it is you know, the final tremors before the thing, right? We are deep in labor at this point, right? And it's the time to fall into paralysis due to fear the mind killer, right? Has passed. Now is the time when we pull ourselves together. We might be crying. We might be shaking. We might be so scared. But this is it. You know, this is it. The world wants to be reborn. The world is going to get what it wants. You know, where are we going to be in that? That's the question. You know, what work are you going to be doing within self to be aligned with that? So that's the big takeaway here. That's the big takeaway. You're being pulled out of your little world here. You have work. You have work to do. We all do. We have, it looks like, I want to say, we have a person here. You can see it looks like a hat man. We have the hat right there. We have a face. Here are the eyes, the mouth, the body here. Now, also holding, it looks like 6, 9, 3. 6, 9, 6 and the 9 and the 3. Now, we also have a person standing here, and we also have a person over here. Okay. I do feel like it's almost like the solar masculine, the feminine lunar. We have the heart or the crescent. We also have the smaller child here. So we have the art, right? We have the mixing. We have the chemical wedding. And so it's the balancing of, the wholeness of, and the star being born, right? And so I feel like for you, this is such a, it's a time where it's like you could do anything, and you're going to have a situation where it makes it possible, which maybe is something that has been not ideal, right? Like a dissolution of a relationship, or maybe like, I don't even want to hex this by saying it, but like, sometimes have lived in many apartments and stuff over the years, but sometimes, you're renting and the owners decide to sell, or, they want to move a family member into the house or whatever. And all of a sudden, and I'm not saying overnight, like you have to get out tomorrow, but all of a sudden you have to like move, right? And you've been living there for a while, and it's like, dude, this is a lot. Why are you doing this to me? But and it sucks, but it is this kind of pushing you out. This kind of little nudge, and you resort yourself, and you start to see things about maybe you're living, or you, have I been off course, or, whatever. So there's a rebalancing, and there is a reimagining of, right, the star being the goal, right? The driving thing in your life right now. What star are you following? What dream are you following? So I do think that this kind of changes for you. Okay. Now we also have, it looks like the letters B and E. So B, or maybe it's initials, maybe it's part of a larger word. Put this up here. And then we have, it looks like the number 8. The number 8. Yeah. And there's a helicopter. And it looks like a house. Now, the helicopter is an interesting symbol for me. I kind of have an old attachment to it from synchromysticism, among all things, but it is related to the solar, the highest masculine relationship of the solar. This is the kind of solar chariot, right, if you will. And what it always kind of stands out to me as, like, almost this kind of Icarus energy, where it's kind of like finding this aspect of self that is very intensely, maybe passionately, obsessively, manically, like, obsessed with getting to a point. Like, if you join like a religion and you're trying to, learn all the things and get yourself really deeply initiated into it, or a magical system, and you're, trying to do all the work so that you can get, a higher grade or whatever. Or just, you really like just falling in love with something, and it's all consuming, right? You're just obsessively into whatever. And in this highest ideal, it really is such a fine line. It's like when you talk about like magic and madness, this is also like when things start really going your way, when you start to really see like, yes, I can actually like manifest things in my life, and so on and so forth. And then you get the little taste of, like a shark, a little taste of blood, the power, and starting to feed into that ego. Oh, we thought we got rid of that ego, babe. You know what I mean? And nope, there it is. This kind of thing is really, it exposes who we are in a way, in our most base places, like those unhealed child, instinct kind of things, So I think it's a reminder. It's a reminder as you come into this place, and as you start to feel more and more confident, just to, with the helicopter man, you can ascend to that like very solar chief leader place But you also have to be, very mindful that you don't let it, like, spin you out of control. Okay. So, anyways, all these readings I've been doing, very like free association. So I thank you I know a lot of people maybe don't like it. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I care. Of course I care. I care what you think. But also, I don't. But not you, anybody. The general you and we and them and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, like, I feel just these deep strands. I don't know. And I'm not really somebody that, like, I'm not ever involved in anything, or do I ever believe anything enough that, like, I want other people to, like, get on board with it. Aside from recently, it's just been that, like, there is nothing I see more clearly than we have to, like, learn how to take care of ourselves with the least amount of external support as possible. And I know that sounds like, very harsh, but, like, I say it from a place of having gone through a childhood of trauma, neglect, poverty, so on and so forth, and to an older life of more of the same, and then having to learn at a pretty advanced stage, in my 30s, basically, how to be a human being, and having to navigate, crawling through hell to keep yourself alive and going, and then trying to learn how to not only do that, but, like, maintain a life and then thrive and all this kind of thing. And it's nothing but, and I'm not bragging about any of it. It's, I'm always one step away from my life falling apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all are. Let's be real. But what I do know is that I want for people to be able to feel confident in the fact that, babe, we're like cockroaches. You're never going to get rid of us. You know what I mean? Like, we survive. We do the dang thing. I'm sorry to say, but, like, I come from a long line of people who have done everything with nothing. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I want that for all of us. So, like, I know these messages sometimes, are a little magic leaning, a little rambly, a little windy and all of that. But what it all comes down to is I want us to be expanding our thinking, finding new skills, being able to sustain our life with as little as we can, and if you have more and of an abundance of, resources or whatever, being able to sustain the life that you want and doing it in a way that is realistic, so I don't know. We have to get back to basics, a lot of us. And I know I'm constantly trying to find ways to do that. So I wouldn't say it if I wasn't doing it on some real, not just for the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, in real life. So anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here with me. We will talk soon. And, let me put my messy hair in there. Bye.